Good morning. Or should I say good afternoon? I guess it really depends on where you are in the universe. So, it's been a bit of a busy week. We spent a couple of days getting an aluminum factory up and running. I think today, we're going to work on something different. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. So I mentioned during our aluminum factory project, I did some stuff off screen to try and get a bunch of bauxite over there. This was some of that. But we still have a checklist. Stuff that we need to work on. Rubber and plastic, sort of the next one. We're gonna use this area, I think, for that. I love how I can hold the cup of coffee and drink the cup of coffee while using a parachute. So, while there's a bunch of bauxite that is being mined and shipped out to the aluminum factory here, there's also a bunch of oil here. So I intentionally left room this little factory down here, and that's going to be our project for today. The entire point of doing that big aluminum factory was so that I would be able to use like blenders and some stuff that uses aluminum. Well, hey, Regaboon Snow! How is the rainbow snow today? I like how the animating emote works on the overlay, but in the actual, like, Twitch stream chat interface, it doesn't animate at all and doesn't show up. That's lovely. Good. I'm glad you're alive. Oh, yay, that one showed up. WD in chat. Oh, but it doesn't animate in the chat, but it does in the overlay. That's adorable. Very cool. So while this factory is going to build rubber and plastic, me not adorable. Oh, yes, you are. You are absolutely adorable. I will not hear it said otherwise. We don't do, you know, self-deprecation here. It's in the rules. So while this is going to be an aluminum and rubber factory, that's almost going to be like almost like it's not its real purpose almost, you know? It's like, sure, it'll do that. But here's the fun thing. Anytime you're dealing with oil, you always have byproducts you have to deal with. So we're going to have a bunch of byproducts. What are we going to do with it? Well, at one point, I was glancing at the power and realizing, well, we're getting up there. Maybe it's time for a power plant. But I'm good at not being nice to myself, though. It's my thing. Oh, it's absolutely our thing too. That's why the rule's there, because we are absolutely just as bad as you. It's like, this rule is for ourselves just as much as anybody else. We're very good at, self-depying. That's why it's a rule not to do it. That's one you can hold over us just as much. So we're gonna create, let's see, Pelosi Islands Master Breaker. That's gonna be the name of this factory. So, two basic products here are going to be, yeah. You don't have a grumpy emo, you just have cry. Well, same with mine too, so, what can you do, right? We're gonna have two primary products here. We're gonna have the rubber and the plastic, sure, but we're also going to have power. Electrical power. Well, if you want uppies, if you want to be picked up and held or placed on top of something, because if you want uppies, you can have uppies. Picks you up and puts you on top of the refineries to sit there and look at what's going on. I built this factory almost exactly long enough. I can tell you don't have a condition, don't you? Condition. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of condition you mean. That can mean a lot of different things. Oops. It sounded like you were gonna say I have to agree to being adorable to get uppies. I mean, now that you've suggested it, you've made it a reality. You need to agree that you're adorable to get uppies. You've now brought it into existence. You made it part of reality, and so now it is real. Confuzzled. Also, that's like the central conceit of the furry community is just like, you think you're not cute, but you are. Let's put that a little further down. Furry community has always very much been one of, you know, positivity, treat people well, better mental health. Self-care. Put me what I want on top of the head. Well, did you agree that you're cute yet? Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let's do the rest plastic. 3, 8, 4. So there's 4 plastic and 8 rubber. Twice as much rubber, which makes sense. There you go. Picks you up and puts you on top of the refinery so you can sit here and watch any. Oh, you want to be on the top of my head. Oh, that works. The question is, how big is your character? Right. This is the thing I needed the aluminum for. He is slightly less than 4 inches. Oh, absolutely, then. You can absolutely right on her head. More than fit. Do the ratatouille thing. Okay. 1. Actually... yeah, okay. Here. You can help me count. Let's see, how many of these did we need? Checks my schematic, 8. So we've got 1. And there we go. It looks like we have room for some more. I wonder how many more we could do. Maybe 3 more? We'd have to get some more parts. Yeah. Okay. So the general idea here is primary oil refinement in these refineries. Then we need to recycle the waste product, which is what the blenders are going to be doing with. By the way, it's slightly less than 4 inches because using metric conversion. You can give it to me in metric. I may be a filthy goddamn American, but at least I'm like smart enough and capable of doing metric. Because, you know, I've spent at least some time not in the United States, so it's like, I do understand metric. So you can feel free to metric me if you want. Now, let's see. 10 centimeters. Ah, perfect. Got it. Yes, at one point, I lived in Montreal, in Canada, for at least a month or so. I'm also one of those people that just like things traveling around and going and visiting other places is cool. Generally don't really have the money to do a whole lot, but what if I could? I think in short, I would say my view is just, I'm not narrow. I'm so used to Americans not knowing a metric. Yeah, and that's kind of why I specified. It's like, I understand that that is absolutely a thing that a lot of Americans are so thick that they can't understand more than one mode of measurement. And it's like, yeah, not my... If I had the power, I would just say this country has to fucking run on metric because it's just better. I don't have that power. And I think their reasons for not doing it are stupid, but, you know, I at least make sure I understand it. And where appropriate, believe me, I will use it. Like, Satisfactory is metric. And what do we think? What do we think? Let's do water on the top. How is that horizontal to vertical? That is not what I want. Not super fond of that, but I can make it work. There we go. We're going to use this recipe, diluted fuel. Yeah, I very much get that, like, the stereotype exists because, sure, a lot of Americans are like that, but here's the thing. We're not all like that. Like, you know, a stereotype exists for a reason, but it's just that. It's a stereotype. I don't take it personally. Okay. We're gonna go into ad break. Be right back a minute. Oops. We're out of ad break. So, in my experience, when I was a kid in school, they actually taught metric as it was a unit in school, but then it's one of those things where they just never paid attention to it again after that. And much of like the American government runs on, you know, their units. But the thing is, it's very much one of those, it's a control thing. Like, when I was a kid in school, they were trying to give students the knowledge and the ability to work in either system, but with the US government, it's very much a policy and a control thing. They want you using their units and thinking in their terms. But as people living under that system, our preference is, well, you know, the rest of the world is real and it exists. And, you know, sometimes we choose to, you know, live in the rest of the world, in the real world, and don't always like the fact that we're living under a regime that likes to feed us propaganda. Sorry if I just made the whole thing political, but unfortunately it is very much a political thing. I'm gonna need 5 of these. So unfortunately, I am running out of things at this point, and that's largely... Of course, don't worry. I'm running out of a bunch of things, and that is mostly because I'm running out of rubber and plastic. So, when I first built this particular factory, it was set up in such a way that it produced enough back in Tier 4, but now we're in, like, Tier 8. It's hard for me to know, because I've basically never, ever seen freedom, freedom. Yeah, I like calling them freedom. DUM as in, you know... Actually, it's sort of a... That's sort of an ableist term. I probably shouldn't use that joke, actually, now that I think about it. It's like I speak both sets of units, so it's like I could like describe something in both sets of units. It's just, to us, it's largely contextual. Like, for example, Coffee Stain Studios, the guys that made this game, somebody asked them during a Q&A, it's like, what units do you use typically when you're working on the game? And like their answer was, it's very contextual. It's like, what are you doing? When I'm focusing on something that involves the game, it's in metric because the game is in metric. But if some rando is trying to describe something to me in freedom units, it's like, oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand what that is. And if I need to convert one way or the other, I generally will. Just because it's a force of habit to me. I've been doing it for 20 years. In fact, I didn't even know freedom existed until I got on the internet. Fair enough. All right. I just needed 5. There we go. Hello. But I probably won't call things aluminium. Come on. Still don't have enough of those. So it's like, here's the plastic belt. It's mostly full. It's doing fine. But underneath it is the rubber belt, and you notice it's very sparse right now. I could probably reverse a couple of these and switch them back over to rubber, but in the end, we're gonna need to get this factory another source, because the main source here just is not keeping up. Luckily, I set this up in such a way that it's pretty easy for me to sit here and go loop, loop. Here we go, rubber. Let me switch the outputs real quick. You're not taught about measurement at all? Really? Oh, I think what you're saying is you're not taught about, like, American units at all. And honestly, if you're not even American, I don't know why you would. Just everybody uses metric. Why would you even need to? America, in this case, is the outlier. Switch this guy back on. Grab some more frames. Frames is definitely having trouble keeping up. So let's go into our little checklist. Now if we're low on, start a new entry for heavy modular frames. Who the heck else uses American units. Let's see. Yes. Do I have enough? Yes, I now have enough. Okay, that should be enough parts. US, Liberia, and Myanmar. Today I learned. I didn't even know that. Sounds like a colonialism thing. I already have a switch for this one. I didn't even need to do that. There we go. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Colonialist measurement system. It's like I said, there's not a good reason why America doesn't use metric. There is no good reason, only bad reasons. And that includes things like, colonialism. And propaganda. Maintaining the status quo. And the best part was, I actually got taught this as a kid in grade school. I mean, it matters somewhat. Because here's the interesting irony about that is, not only did I learn it when I was a kid in school, they were very specific about, oh no, this is the way it is because, because of colonialism. Because, America tries to keep people into a system that they don't want to change because of reasons that are largely colonialist. Whether it's America's fault or it's Britain's fault because it exists that way doesn't really matter. It's colonialism. It's propaganda. And the weirdest thing is this, I went to school in a pretty conservative area, but this particular school system was like, no, we're not going to be like that. And we're actually pretty forward-thinking for an American school system. However, pretty centrist for the rest of the world, I think. Also, there's an entire discussion to be had there about redlining that was happening in the area where I grew up, but that's an entirely different problem. I would argue that it does matter, though. It very much matters. Okay, we should have the top pipe done now, which means we need to do the bottom pipe. And we actually need to go and get the oil. And collect the solid outputs. Stuff to do! Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to colonialism, there's not a whole lot of difference between, oh, it's American, oh, it's British, they're both colonialist. I want to have the bend in the pipe be up so I can then run underneath here the solid collection to do this correctly. Yeah, that's not gonna look good. In fact, let's do something to make this a little easier. Top is already blue, it's water, so let's mark the bottom one purple because this one is going to be the heavy oil residue pipe. Whoops. Pipeline. There we go. Make it clear what we're doing here. Don't know how I did that. Okay. This isn't going to look super neat, but honestly, I'm really super sure I could absolutely like not have any giant bends like this, but the problem is that it's going and meeting the other side, and it's perfectly lined up on the other side. I'm just trying to make the best of the T-junctions I've already got in place. You have learnt me a new word, though. Which word? I'm full of lots of new words. Once upon a time, I was an English major. What do you do with a BA in English? Oops. Well, that's not what I wanted. Holy moly. What just happened? Okay. There we go. Colonialism. Yep. Essentially referring to, like, you know, Britain was a colonizer of the Americas, and that's how there was the whole Civil War thing, and then America turned around and became the... I did it again. Jeez. Turned around and became the colonizer of the world, just in... like they were following in Daddy's footsteps. I need more pipe. Didn't bring enough pipe. Gonna have to go back and get some. All right. It does seem to be a general history of okay. Okay. The game just crashed. Wow. I'll be back in a minute. Be right back. Okay. Are we back? Okay, we're back. But we still don't have pipe. We're still gonna need to go get some pipe. I think we're back like 1 minute. Honestly, not a bad place to have a crash, honestly. Didn't lose much progress. As I've done this series, I've actually been pleasantly surprised it hasn't crashed more. Sometimes the game can be very crashy. Largely that's an early access problem, and I think the game optimizations that are supposed to be coming in 1.0 will really help. But since we are plebs still running on update 8, yes, I do keep an active Ko-fi. I try and post there whenever I go live, or whenever, and that includes both here on my personal game channel and also TransXPTTRPG. Both things get updates posted on my Ko-fi. Mostly just go live notifications. Also, if I post a video, something that I've edited, and it goes live somewhere, whether it's, you know, on YouTube or like TikTok, I will also post that there. It's a good way to try and, you know, keep up on anything going on with the channel. And, you know, help me make rent. Ko-fi is sort of like Patreon, except more of what is donated actually goes to the person, as opposed to Patreon that takes a more significant cut. Pipe materials, pipe materials. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. There we go. Also, Patreon tends to work in strictly ongoing donation cycles, whereas Ko-fi has an entire system that is just like you can do one-time things as opposed to being locked into a recurring payment. So there's also that. All right, heading back with our parts. Continuing to prove the adage that it's like, as much as I try to plan on all the materials I'm going to need, I'm always going to forget something. Here we go. Here we go, here we go. Trying to mark the pipes according to what's in them. Go. There you go. That one actually gets to be perfectly flush. So does this one. This one. Two. I want this to not look bad. So, let's do... a little bit of framework. So this doesn't look terrible. There we go. Not that I expect anybody is going to really see that, except for us, but no excuse to not make it look somewhat decent. Okay. That's the piping between the two roads. Not exactly super neat, but serviceable. Now this pipe we need to address. This one is going to be the crude oil. Do I have the parts for 2 valves? I do. Put in a valve there that makes it directional. Do-do-do. Oops, wrong jet. There we go. Think about this for a second. Well, first off, put in at least the illusion of a foundation to hold it up. And let's see. Let's put in pipeline wall hole there. And once again, put in a valve. Coming. There we go. Once again, fluid systems like to have fluid coming in from both sides. It worked much better that way. Well, that is not what I intended. Two. There we go. Yeah. So there are 4 oil nodes in this region. I'm going to have 2 go in on the left side, 2 on the right side. If I'm not mistaken, the amount they produce is roughly equal. So we'll have incoming pressure roughly equal on each side. You know, I don't even care. Like, I could take these guys out, but I don't even care that much. Alright, I need 4 of these boys. And gonna need 1 of these boys. Excuse me, dear. Thank you. Like, I don't want to deal with the wildlife unless I actually have to, you know? Because it's set to retaliate, and the minute I start shooting at them, they get a chance to shoot back. Excuse me, Mr. Bean. Frank the Factory Bean. Oh, hang on a minute. I need to clean up these guys. Excuse me, boys. I really don't want to have to kill you, but... Alright. Here we go. They didn't shoot back. Alright. Come on. Come on. There we go. Cable. Out of cable. Yet another part. I'm going to need to send a. Send you more or less. Well, don't give yourself financial complications, but you know, help is appreciated, especially in a country that does not like the existence of certain types of people like me. The help is appreciated, but you know, don't hurt yourself doing it. Okay, yeah. Gonna need more cable to finish that one. Because we have a whole thing about not harming themselves. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Zoop, 1 meter. 110? I think that might have been a bit more than I wanted. The one problem with using the Zoop mod. I think I just zooped it right over my oil node. How far did it go? Pretty far. I don't actually want to fight you. Oh, is that? Heck yeah. Exactly what the doctor ordered. You are having problems pathing through that obstacle. Let me see if I can help you with that. I can always come back here later if I want to go collect slugs or something. Fair enough. Which is sort of the whole conceit behind something like Ko-fi, is like, it's enough for a drink. And honestly, sometimes that's nice. Creature is in the way. Is he gonna make me murder him? I don't want to have to... Okay, thank you. I'm not generally a fan of just murdering hapless wildlife. Unless they're shooting at me, then it's sort of my inner, I guess, American has to take over. It's like, what? I was being shot at. What was I supposed to do? I like how I can attach it to the sides, but I can't attach it to the underside. Okay. I just can't use that as an attachment point. Let's go with, like, right there. Here. Here. Pipe is too long. And that should mean hi, Frank. Hi, Frank. I can almost make it reach that far. Maybe if to connecting tower. Got it. This guy over here, that's all he can do, but this one over there, 2, 3, 4 green lights. Okay, we have oil at least collection. Let's say production. I was like, that's not accurate. But I have forgotten a step, haven't I? Because we do need some head lift here, and while the base buildings have some, it's not enough. Generally, not enough. In this case, we need about 12 meters of upward lift. $15 meters on this one. All right. We are off to the races. Let's see. Plastic. rubber. So let's mark these. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 2, 3. Yeah, 17. Counted it twice now. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we can... Ooh! Hi, Sam! Is meters in this economy? I mean, we just had a long discussion about, like, metric. It's like, given my druthers, I would always prefer to do things in metric. But, you know, United States propaganda exists. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. No, 15 meters. Okay, so first things first. Oh, no. I need to fix the cables problem. That's going to become a direct issue here. Whereas this side is the rubber. So we need our solid output collection here. 2, 3, 4. So the thing about the heavy oil residue is you've got some options what you're going to do with it. You could package it and awesome sink it, but then it's like whatever materials you're collecting to make the packaging are getting synced along with it. Or you can turn it into something. And in this case, I am choosing to turn it into electrical power. Which has a side effect in that if it gets full on the can't solve either. You take care of your own needs first. If the solid products ever gets full, it will then cause everything to back up. So we need to have a smart splitter in there with an overflow to an awesome sink to make sure that it does not back up. Otherwise, that will then start to make the power plant go offline. And if we've become reliant on a certain level of power being produced by that plant, well, it's like now one of our power plants is falling off. So, don't like that. Alright. What do we need while we're here? Gonna need more motors. Why are we short on motors anyway? Do I need to build at a separate factory just to build motors? Don't get me wrong, if I need to, I will, but... like, we're making stators at a separate factory. We're making rotors at a separate factory. There's no reason... well... I think it's more a reason that we're just making so... we're using so many of them now. Let's see. We are making the least efficient recipe. I could get a couple of manufacturers together and make them more efficiently with crystal oscillators, but then I'm adding crystal oscillators. Thing is, the two basic parts, the rotors and the stators, we already have external factories making tons of them. I don't know. Let me try this. And if we need to come back later, and try adding some manufacturers to make the higher recipe with crystal oscillators, you better believe I'll do that. But that's going to cost rubber, so... So either way you shake it, I'm gonna need to get this factory built. It's somewhat essential right now. Oh yeah, absolutely, Sam. Sounds good, sounds good. Yeah, the problem is not a lack of rotors and stators, it's just... it's a lack of... or rather our usage exceeding our current manufacturing limit. Go into our list. What a note. Motors. Manufacturer? Question mark? Because there is that recipe we could take advantage of. But let's see how far that gets us. It's like, if I can solve a problem by overclocking the assemblers that are making it, then I don't need the external factory. But if that still doesn't meet the need, and I can't do it with, like, manufacturers and an alternate recipe, then it's like, at that point, I need to build an external factory to meet the need. Which is exactly what we're doing here with the rubber and the plastic. No. We have actual fuel being made. Good, good, good. Now we were working with the solid product. Because we're gonna need to get that out so that it doesn't back up. Awesome sink there. And one there. One for each product, essentially. Yes, the thought is very much appreciated. It's just, yeah, as you're able. Because I know a lot of people in my audience are not the, wealthiest furries. Sorry, I had to think through that. Okay. Now, do I have the parts for a couple of smart splitters? No! No, I know! Oh, goodness gracious. I was literally just back at... I am kicking myself right now. Complete failure to think even like 5 minutes ahead. Oh, man. And it's not even as if, like, rotors are a problem. It's like, I literally have an outside factory that's doing nothing but making them. I just forgot to bring some. Delightful. So Coffee Stain put out a video this weekend, which was a preview of quantum technology. That was fun. A lot of things in there we don't recognize. And this, of course, has sent the Satisfactory YouTuber community all up in a tizzy. All doing videos about what we think this is or what that is. And I'm just like, I'm good. I'm just like, I'm gonna sit over here, chill. When 1.0 releases, we'll find out. Right now, my goal is to try and see if I can get through what I would consider a full playthrough while we're still in Update 8, because the moment September 10th hits, this series, the heavily modded in Update 8, ends and goes into its next season, which is heavily modded in 1.0. Just a question of how far can I get in that time. I'm running out of days. We've got 10 days in September plus 6 left in August. 16 days. I don't think I'm gonna make it. It's like, we're doing the rubber and plastic factory right now. Next up is the electronics factory. Then nuclear. And then I have a bunch of other factories I build at that point. Rubber. Overflow. Yeah, it's immediately going to, because I haven't given it anywhere to go yet. Here you go, rubber. We are loading that train car. Why are you still overflowing? There you go. That's better. Actually, grab that pole. I don't want to foul the blenders too much. Because they're going to be very busy on their exits. But I want to get this going. Oh, beautiful. It's nice and convenient. And there's the plastic belt. Smart splitter. So, plastic. And overflow. That's going to take it a long time to fill. Which means we need to start doing something with the heavy oil residue now. Or more specifically, the fuel. What have we got now? 5,000 fuel a minute? No. 1,000 fuel a minute, yeah. So I'd say that would... Math is hard. So, this is going to be a 2-floor factory. The first floor is the refinement. The second floor is the power plant. Which means we need to build the second floor now. Those don't line up. Ah, that's why. No, it still does not line up. Okay, well. Why does this not line up? Always the way I figure out why these things don't line up is if I try running the two next to each other and see what happens. Ah, that's why. Got it. All right. Yeah, that tells me a whole lot. Basically, the alignment difference is these were starting at the underside. They should not have started from the underside. They need to be flush with the other foundations. That's why it got out of alignment. Seven. Eight. And now we wait a minute. There we go. Much better. Well, that don't look great. Hover pack can't quite make it up there. So I'm going to need at least a staircase or something. We have stopped producing entirely. Probably because the heavy oil residue is now overfilling. Because the diluted fuel is full. So in order for this line to keep producing, we need to correct this issue. Getting up that way. So... make a catwalk. Now we can get up here. Suppose I could have also just taken out the fuel jetpack, but where's the fun in that? Well, that didn't look great. What the heck did I just do? Okay. Fuel generators. We're going to build 67 of them. See how much room I have here. Maybe what I could do. Could I put two of them together? They are 2.5 foundations. Oh, but there wouldn't be any room in between them. I would need the room in between them in order to run logistics. However, what the heck? Well, that wasn't what I wanted. Things are 2.5 foundations, so that should leave me plenty of room to run a logistics down the middle. And logistics in this case is pipe and power. One of the things I like about these guys is they're actually getting buffed in 1.0 as they will produce more power then than they do now. So I'm something of a fan of fuel jennies. Modular power has its own version, but then it just gets really complicated. And there's a certain point where I'm like, there are whole mods that are just complicating the game for complication's sake. It's like the Satisfactory Advanced mod. It's like, making the game more complicated is not actually what I'm looking for. I understand there are some people who are looking for that. I am not one of those people. Gonna need that just for logistics on the side. Let's grab a power pole that is not behind the circuit switch. So on this side. Has the benefit of being directly connected to the trains also. So that helps. The way I'm going to do this is arrange everything in several rows. Now we wait. Yes, you do have an artist flair. Because guess what you did? You designed and drew an emote. And I gave you artist credit for that, because that's the correct way to do things. So you now have an artist flair. Okay, 12. Each row is 12, so we've got... You did art. You arted. So each row is 12, so we've got 24 up so far. We have the new self-care emote, which was Way Too Late TV's art. Okay. Now, in theory, I should be able to pull this out. Much better. Okay. Now, the recipe here... Yep, that emote exactly. I used the number earlier, 67 fuel jennies. Because that is the number needed for the amount of fuel that we will be producing as a byproduct. In reality, we'll probably put in a few extras just so that we're making sure to gather the excess, if that makes any sense. A little extra capacity never really hurts anything. Each row is 24, so we need 3 rows. So there's going to be an additional row. Yeah, I don't want that clipping into that. So... I just need enough room in between for logistics. Which is... in reality, I only need about a foundation for logistics. Yeah, I've got a little bit of extra room there. So what if I... got a half a foundation. And that takes me right to the edge. Yeah, I could even, like, move these guys slightly over a bit further. How much room? Oh, I've got a full foundation between those guys. However, he needs to be facing that away. Also, one of those was flying up in the air, and I can't have that. That would look weird. Yeah, here we go. Exactly one foundation between them. So, 67 minus 24 minus 4 is 39. There we go. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to arrange this. And essentially, there will be, you know, that many more rows. I have the two facing each other. So I can just directly connect the pipe. Now there are a couple of major challenges here. We need to distribute the fuel in such a way that hopefully one area doesn't have all of the fuel and then the others are sitting there thirsty. So we need to do a good job of distributing. I do have a plan, though. Oops, no. Two. It's like 5 more than I need. And I did say I would build some extra into the system. The question is, do I have the parts? One other thing I should think about doing here is get the train running. Just start removing the solid product. But that's not the priority right now. We need to get the first of these running so that we're actually expending some of the fuel that we are creating. So I'm just going to keep building these until I run out, and then we'll clean up as we get there. By my count, we need to build 17 more. Six more. I also think I should probably do a break here in a bit. I have been going for 2 hours. And that's it for the motors I have on hand. Okay. So there are 3 rows. The first thing I need to do is distribute the fuel from the 10... Are there 10? Did we build 10? 9, 10, 11. There are actually 11. The 11 blenders that are making fuel between the 3 rows. And that's going to be our first key. We're going to need a whole bunch pipe. We're going to need some train. This is temporary. I plan to put this back later. I just need access to the pipe underneath. So, let's do this horizontal to vertical. It's going to be a row right there and a row right there. So let's assume that this one right here is actually going to be used. Yeah, that's too far. So... it would really help, I think, at this point if I put down the second pipe. This guy because I need to see where it's at to line things up. Alignment. Ooh. All right, I'm going to take a few minutes for a break, and I'm going to come back to this after the break and keep going, because the goal is to finish this factory today, but we're at halfway. So let's take a 15-minute break and come back and finish it. See you in a bit. Because, you know, we're big on that whole self-care thing. Be right back. Don't mind me, I'm just having a coffee, watching the train, making sure it, follows the program. Totally not a dragon who snuck in while Tigress was AFK. Yes. That's the North Forest train right there. We're gonna be coming in behind that one. Graphics glitch. Those signals should be lit. Hey, Pyrostyle, how you doing? Having a good Saturday? Had to check. We had a whole conversation earlier about the metric system and colonialism. So are these on unload? No, they're not. Unload. Oh, that's the Rocky Desert train coming in. He'll probably get in behind us. Is it stuck? Somebody's... Oh, it's the nitrogen train. Yeah, it's going around the roundabout up there. But it's leaving, so... That should clear signal for... North Forest is still not moving. Alright, I'm getting out. Waiting for path reservation. Oh, he wants to go all the way around and go out that way. But there's already something... Oh no, it was waiting on yellow. Wait, which guy are you? Yeah, it's the bauxite train. It was just going through. Okay, now are you gonna give red the signal? No. Because the path is still not clear. Okay. Generally, whenever you run into these issues, just add more signals. Well, it released that guy. That's the Red Sea aluminum train. It still has not released the North Forest train. Interesting. Oh. We are a pro-metric house here, Lavos. Okay. And bump that guy up one. There we go. Now it released the North Forest train. Which means that Pelosi Island train will then sit there and wait. But it releases that Rocky Desert train back there. And so the Red Dune Sea one will now move up. And North Forest moves up. And there goes the Pelosi Island train. Yeah, most of these situations, you can always solve them by adding additional signals. Yeah, in places where it makes sense to. Okay. Let's see. Now that we have that problem solved, I needed to know where this pipe was. Because there's going to be a single pipe feeding each row. You just need to know where they go. There we go. Now I have some idea where that pipe is because it is now late. It's right there. So how's everybody's Saturday so far? Let's take this guy. So I know there's going to be another one up here, but let's leave it there. That way. I can do something incredibly silly, like that. And that. Oh, look at that. Stuff is moving. That should go across and eventually start filling this row. Of course, it's only one pipe right now, so need to do the rest of the pipes. So this one's going to be around about here. Eyeball it. I'm glad you're able to be home too, Pyro Style. Ooh, I hear fuel Jenny's coming on. Let's put another junction underneath that pipe there. Wasn't perfectly straight, was a bit skew with, but we manage. Not perfectly aligned, do the best we can. Yeah, the pump is unfortunately kind of needed because it's like 35 meters straight up. Your Saturday is going tired. God, that's a mood. That is a hell of a mood. There's not much flow over here yet, but I imagine once we get... We've only got 3 out of 11 belted, right? Belted. Piped, yeah. Right now. So this guy is coming along about here-ish. Put a junction there. A junction there. I'm seeing plastic and rubber starting to move. That's good. That's good. Factory is starting to run. Come on. There we go. And now we wait a second. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't do a very good job with that one, did I? Line that better. It's 5 down, 6 to go. I love it when it actually gives me a guideline. That helps. Doesn't always do that. Six down, 5 to go. This is probably the most grueling part, honestly. just pipe city down here. Okay, will you give me a line? There we go. Seven down, four to go. I said 5 to go, that's 12. No, 4 to go. Almost on this foundation line, so... Can I line you up? Okay, 3 to go. Okay, just made a dinner order from Moon Tea. Sadly had to use DoorDash, but gonna try fruit tea with fruit jelly and crystal boba, mochi desserts, flamin' hot Cheetos, crusted Korean corn dog. Sounds delicious, honestly. I'm actually sort of surprised those are all things that you can have on a diabetic diet. This is your cheat day. Okay. Alright. I won't be caught criticizing anybody trying to just live a little. Just, you know, don't put yourself in the hospital, that's all I ask. The whole self-care thing still applies. Also, I'm too lazy to cook. Still fixing my sleep cycle, and I'm quite tired. God, that's a mood. Yeah, my sleep cycle is now completely off of where it was before. Just ask Sam. I've been passing out around 10 o'clock, and oh man, am I passing out. One left. right about here-ish. I haven't slept yet today, really, but I've managed to rest enough periodically that I'm hanging out, combined with caffeine here and there. Should be good to sleep at my regular time tonight. Hopefully this gets fixed. I might even go to bed. See, for me, I did like a couple of weeks of melatonin back when I was severely injured, and that completely reset my sleep cycle. Okay. Now, what we've got, all of the pipes coming out of the blenders full of fuel now all have someplace to go. There's a pipe that is hanging beneath the ceiling there that distributes it 3 ways, 1 to each row. Then all I need to do is connect up the individual units once they're in that row. Okay. What's our power looking like? Oh, yeah. We're consuming about 10K. We're now producing upwards of 17. So that's looking better. This roof of nothing but fuel jennies is about 2/3 done at this point. We just need to do the last row. And then we just put the finishing touches on this factory, like aesthetic pass and stuff like that. Also, we should be cranking rubber and plastic now. Yeah. Looks like that is all running. I can see the plastic going. And there's the rubber down there. I'm seeing residual heavy residue, which I should not be seeing because we put in 3 more blenders than we actually needed. But it's not stopping production. It is entirely possible that the blenders are just maxing out. So I still need to build the last third of the fuel jennies. Or rather, connect them up, I should say. Let's see here. 5. Be handy to have 5 more of these guys. Get some heavy frames and a few other things. Okay. I also want to go back and check and see if we're actually delivering product. Don't think we are yet. Well, I use melatonin too, and I will be tonight. I don't use it all the time. ensure that I sleep. Yeah, that makes sense. Just be careful because you can develop a habit if you use it too much. That's why, in my case, I did it for a couple of weeks to reset my sleep schedule and then stopped. But, you know, hashtag not medical advice. IANAM. I am not a medical professional. Oh, nice. Motors are starting to catch up again. That's working. We're not delivering finished products yet. Ooh, we are completely honking out of heavy modular frames. Oop, that was the wrong pipe. This is what happens when I don't put labels on things. I wanted the other pipe. I need to come back and, like, redo those so that they have labels. They're getting parts. Like we did with the motors, let's try overclocking and see if that helps. If it doesn't help, I'm going to need to build a factory to build more of them. One thing at a time, though. I'm the same way, Levis. I will only use it when I need to sleep. And back during, like, when I was badly injured, I definitely needed to sleep, and that's how the whole reset happened. This is where all my modular frames went. They're all over here. does seem to be helping. Those aren't real. Those aren't real either. So, 2 major objectives. Hook up that last row of fuel jennies. And we need to make sure to belt up the finished supply arriving from the train station. It should all be coming in here. Yep, sure enough, rubber. And this one should be plastic. Okay. I'm now going to cheat and go directly through the floor. Because I can. Tells me exactly where it comes out. Industrial storage bin. Is that lined up? No, that is most certainly not lined up. Is clipping? No, they're not clipping. Good. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, really? I'm gonna take this big old stack of belts here. I'm going to turn that way and go into that corner. Because that's the closest corner to where the destination bins are. Why are we doing that? It's like it's not actually possible. You're showing red, and yet that's the option you're presenting me. When the place I'm clicked on has two viable options, one on each side. Why not present me with the viable one instead? This is a very simple coding thing, guys. Oof. And on my trip to go and deliver parts, I'm out of parts. The game in a nutshell. I can handle a ramp, really. Remind me to put lights down on this floor. I keep meaning to do that. I just keep thinking, well, there's not much down there. Well, no, we're starting to get to the point where there's actually a bunch of stuff down here now, so we need to get some lights in here. Not do that. Let's do this instead. I left this little pipe wowie here, specifically because this was going to be a lift closet. And here's where that starts to happen. Here comes plastic. And there's the rubber. Now we go down one more floor. Okay. So I have a thing set up so plastic gets made, any excess goes out the garbage chute to the awesome sink, but these guys, I don't want to flush these guys. So this is the supply that is keeping everything topped off. So we're going to bypass the awesome sink flush. By going directly into the bin. Okay. The rubber belt. Double check, make sure I'm not clipping. There we go. Now everything that needs supply is getting supplied. The benefit of doing it this way is if the external factory that is feeding this reaches a point where it is now fully saturated the system, that part will back up, at least all the way to the awesome sink smart splitter back at the Pelosi Island factory. So it'll just sit there full until it gets emptied, which is good in case there's increases in demand. Which there absolutely will be. Don't get me wrong, there will be. Particularly when later factories are in need of rubber and plastic. That will add additional spikes to the system when I bring those online, increasing demand in those particular factories. But for now, that's the train delivering the plastic and the rubber, and it is doing a full unload every time, because demand is still higher than what's been provided. And look, here comes the train to do an unload. All it's getting is, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 stacks not even full stacks, the demand is still pretty high. First things first, though, let's get this last row of fuel jennies up and running. Three, 4, 5. There we go. Follow the foundation line. Using it as a straight edge. After all, that's kind of what foundations are for. Oh, really? So really, well, this is a 67 fuel Jenny fuel power plant. It's actually more like 72. Except the actual input only rates it at about 67 fuel Jennies. No, when I do the turbo fuel factory, which is one of the later game ones, that's going to be like 128 fuel Jennies. Because, of course, turbo fuel burns a lot slower, and the location that I'm going to be building it at has more oil coming out of the ground than this one. Well, that's for later. Okay. Piped up. Now, last step is we need to actually connect the main fuel line to it. Or rather, the main fuel lines, plural, because there are 11. Alright. And there's the first one. So we're just gonna go to that little pipeline cross marker and connect. Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Horizontal to vertical just doesn't like it. Okay, all the fuel jennies are now online. These are still saying 63%. 66, 67. It's going up. That was the main thing that was holding them back, was not enough fuel jennies. Now we fixed that. They should all be online. And that's basically that factory in a nutshell. It's basically done except for an aesthetics pass. But at this point, we can go into our little list. Yeah, we looked at that. We looked at that. Which means the next things to work on: quick wire, circuit boards, high-speed connectors. All three of those use quick wire as a base ingredient. So that's probably going to be all one factory. Probably somewhere where there's a lot of quick wire. Good thing I know a place with 2 pure Caterium nodes close together. But that's not a today project. We'll probably work on that project on Monday. For now, what do we want to do? Laveau is having a birthday party. What do you think? Should we give him a little something for his birthday? So, TransXP TTRPG is probably going to have a stream on Monday. I'm probably not going to be there. I have a doctor's appointment, but, you know, go support them. Go support them on Monday, whatever they plan on doing. I will be back with this series Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll probably build the electronics factory. That's probably going to be a 2-day project, if I'm going to be honest, because that's going to be a big undertaking. Something gay, most likely. Yeah, knowing how we all operate, that's probably true. I have my one annual doctor's appointment that day, so unfortunately I'm not going to be there. Like I said, though, probably work on the electronics factory. That's on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I suspect we'll probably also be doing tabletop again not only Monday, but on Friday. In the meantime, I mean, you can always find me here on Twitch, and you can find the VODs for this series over on YouTube. The Ko-fi is there if you feel so inclined. But for the moment, we're going to go give LeVeaux a little bit of a birthday present. And meanwhile, I'll probably offline do an aesthetics pass on this new factory. Everybody have a great day.